Want to have that post ready to read.
Yeah, just bring them in. And we are live for
We
our last
are.
episode.
Oh my goodness, it's not going to be the last episode. I'm sure it's not.
No,
We're
I'm
gonna
sure.
yeah,
I'm sure.
definitely gonna do something else. I can see.
Let's see if we are actually live. Can you see from your side?
If we're live, I mean, it says live. It says that
Good.
it's live and an air.
Yes. Happening now. That's perfect. We are live on LinkedIn. Let's see if we are live on Facebook. And says tune or says move. How have you been in the past week?
I've been good. I've been good. A lot going on. Busy, but I'm good. I'm good. Still
Yeah,
in
so you're
Michigan.
right. Yeah.
Still in Michigan. Still cold. It was calling for a snowstorm sometime soon, so not looking forward to that. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good.
Hi,
So much
Amy.
has
Thank you
happened.
for joining us. So nice to see you here.
Nice to have you, girl. Thanks for coming. She's been
Thank
so
you very much.
amazing on the platform, and the conversations with her and everybody has been so amazing. I'm so proud and so humbled at the same time that so many people are tuning in and having these tough conversations when they can be uncomfortable. So it's a blessing, and again, thank you everybody for being here, for tuning in today, for giving us your time on a Sunday. We I can't say that it will be short because there's a lot to talk about. But anyway,
Yeah,
thank you for being
exactly.
here.
Yeah. And I have a rough week and I lost one of excuse me. I lost one of my friend mom, which I know so very well because we spent our teenage years with her. Basically, she opened her house for us every weekend, and we have dinner, sleepover every weekend for so many years. So it's happened just after we finished our live event last week, and so I've
Oh,
been like shocked and I shut down because what we were talking about just happened to me, and so the Christmas was a little bit strange. So I decided to stay off from social media and apologize for don't not be present, not be able to answer back. My brain couldn't process any thought, to be honest. So I decided to, shrink a little bit in my family with cuddle and yeah, really, really enjoying the warmth of the family nest. So, hi Ashley, thank you for coming.
hi Ashley, love you, girl. No,
Lovely to see
I'm
you.
so sorry for your loss, honey, and of course you needed to take that rest and take that time. So again, I'm sorry for your loss. And I do not know what my mother is doing in the kitchen. What are you doing? Oh God, yes, I
Hello. Hello from UK.
can. Well, don't worry about the lid on the bowl right now.
Thank
It's
you.
okay.
Thank you, Ashley.
Anyway, this is lifing, right? We're lifing. This is no script, no
Mm.
plan, just here.
Exactly.
Sometimes we
So today topic is an important one, and we will talking about this topic from two different perspective, USA and UK. Well, maybe you say USA and Europe, um, because they are. I mean, we're gonna talk about the same things, but how it's managed in different way. Because
Mhm.
USA more capitalistic than Europe. Europe still a very capitalistic country, even there is more law that defend the employees.
Got you, got you.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you very much for coming along. So, just talk about today conversation. Today's conversation is about freedom of speech in the healthcare, because unfortunately, we're still seeing people talk about their problem. They see as a threat for the employer. So unfortunately, even though well, I'm studying actually destructive leadership, and unfortunately, there's no very much data that show how large is disruptive leadership in healthcare. But unfortunately, is because the fact we don't chart, sorry, the fact that we don't chart on the paper destructive leadership doesn't mean that destructive leadership is not present. Actually, it's very present, but it masked by culture, business culture, or policy and ideology. So it's very difficult to name it a leadership has destructive leadership, but it's actually very present, because if you're going to read the behave or the character of the destructive leadership is actually very much extended. So today, hi Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. Thanks
Thank
for
you very
coming.
much. Hi, thank you for
I
coming.
just recently started following her, and her her page is amazing. And nurses buckle up. I love that. Buckle up.
Yes,
Like, hang on,
so,
buckle up, buckle up,
yeah,
bitches.
yeah. I
Love
saw
it.
many of their posts. So today we could talk about, we basically talk about destructive leadership, but we talk about how we don't actually have freedom of speech in the healthcare,
Right, right,
because if
right,
anyone try to speak up or highlight a problem, not because we want to point the finger, but because we want to solve the problem,
right.
how these people are punished or ashamed for what they try to solve or name. So
Mhm.
I would like you to introduce the topic with your amazing quote, and then we can move to our disclaimer and start with the conversation if you're happy about that. Yeah.
Oh, God, yes, yes. Do you want to start with the disclaimer? Let's go there, and then we'll go into it. How about that?
Okay, so let's go with our disclaimer for those who never joined this our live event before. I'm so pleased that you come for the first time. You're very much welcome. You can follow the conversation with us and put your thought in the comments, so we will pull up your comment, read it, and commenting. So this is very much a conversation that go with all of us, not just me and Kimberly. So please be present, share your thought. One thing before you share any comment, please allow the platform you are watching from to give it permission to share your name. Otherwise, you will be I can't identify you. We can't say your name. So we're streaming from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So you need to give permission to this platform. Just a quick introduction for those who don't know us. I am Dina Paoloni. I'm a nurse since 2003. I'm an international educated nurse because I'm Italian and now work and live in UK. And I'm a career coach for international nurses, and also a coach for leaders who manage multicultural teams. So today I'm co-host with Kimberly Maurer. You want to introduce yourself? What do you want me to do? Unfortunately, there is a
Tina, you're
lag.
breaking up. Everybody in the comments, if it's breaking up, can you tell us, or if it's just on my end? Everything you just said was
Oh,
broke
okay.
up,
Can you hear
so I just
me?
want to make sure.
I was
I can hear you
introducing.
now. Yeah,
I was introducing myself. Do
I
you
heard
want to
some of
introduce
it. It's
yourself?
just yeah, yeah. So I'm Kimberly Maurer. I am a licensed practical nurse. I have my bachelor's in healthcare administration and health studies with a minor in professional communication. I've really never said that before, so I thought, well, I'll just throw that out there today. People always wonder what the BS stands for. It's not bullshit little probably pretend nurse, because some people say that, whatever. Anyway, that's another topic. Um, But I have been a nurse since 1997. I've been in healthcare since I was 17 years old. Started out as a CNA working in long-term care and respite care, home health, hospice. So I've done pretty much everything from life to death in healthcare. I've recently began with my own business, Unapologetically You Collective, where I am mentoring, coaching, leading, helping others pivot in roles and find their voice. So I've become the voice for the voiceless as well, is how I like to say it. Because so many people are afraid to talk, are afraid to speak up about things, and I just open up the space to where, we can talk about things. You can DM me, you can send me an email, all of those things to where if somebody's listening, I just want people to know that you're not alone and that there's people listening. Dina is listening. And there's so many coaches out there, so many collective nurses that are, going away from the bedside and becoming entrepreneurs and coaching, because we can bring our experience to the table, because we can educate, and our titles do give us that, where it's not just a title, it's everything that comes along with that, the education, the background, the experience, the stories. So yeah, so that's a little bit about me. So I'm so glad to be here. Thank you, Dina, for this platform. Thank you for episode 5, and then we're gonna have like more and more and more. I just know it. This can't be the end. I've got to get used to doing it.
Absolutely. So we go straight away to our topic. First, I want you to listen to this disclaimer, especially if your first time you'll be here. Let's go.
Disclaimer: the Hierachy Betrayal Podcast. Warning: unfiltered, unscripted, unapologetic. This podcast is brought to you by 2 nurses who've had enough of the BS. We're talking about the real healthcare system, the one that exploits nurses, commodifies patients, and protects profit over people. What to expect? 0 scripts, just raw, honest conversation. F-bombs, probably more than a few. We're passionate, not polished. Uncomfortable truths. If you're a manager who's complicit in the hierarchy betrayal, this content may cause discomfort, embarrassment, or a sudden urge to defend the indefensible. Not suitable for sensitive managers allergic to accountability, anyone invested in maintaining the status quo, those who prefer their healthcare conversations sanitized and corporate approved. Suitable for nurses tired of being used and abused, healthcare workers ready to call out the mafia, anyone who believes patients deserve better than a system designed for profit. If you're here, you're ready for the truth. Welcome to the Hierachy Betrayal.
Welcome here. Welcome to episode 5 of Hierachy Betrayal. Thank you for coming, and let's show a couple of comments. You want to start with your introduction? Thank you, Ashley. Tone policing is very much a thing. Get in line or get a new job, exactly what we are talking about today. Tammy, much appreciation for all your nurses. Keep pressing. Grateful for you or are there. Thank you very much. You got the microphone. Let's go.
Okay. There's there's so much conversation and speaking up and being hired because they love your fire. You have so much to say. You're such a light, and this is what we need in our culture. And we're so glad you're here. And then once you get there, and you're coming, and if you think about it too, you're coming in from a different lens. So you're looking at a culture that they're telling you is broken, right? So you're looking at it from that lens. So you come in with a perspective of like, okay, and you're taking the time, you're getting to know everybody. And I have to say that first and foremost, if you are a leader and you are in a leadership role, get to know your people, okay? Get to know the staff inside of them. Get to know their first name, their last name, if they have kids, if they are married, if they are divorced. I know those things sound super personable, but when you're making the schedule or you have someone who's had to call in or there's something going on and they're not talking about it because it's personal, if you know that little bit of background because you've taken the time to get to know your staff, then you can understand what's happening and be able to support them better and be able to approach them and say, hey, I'm here if you need to talk. I'm here. What can I do for you? I think more leaders need to come to their teams and say, what can I do for you? What can I do to help you? And when you're seeing someone struggling, or you're seeing somebody who's like just not the way that they were, like there's definitely something off. Be curious. It doesn't hurt to ask, hey, are you okay?
Exactly.
You know, they'll either open up or they won't, but at least they know that they've been seen. They have been seen. Someone saw them. Someone saw their mood change, the way their face is, their facial expressions, the way they wear it. Because as you know, Dina, we all wear stuff so heavy. It's like we talk about the suitcases and carrying all that all the time. We're always carrying it around with us. We never set it down. So I just feel with leadership, they have to pay attention. Get out of your office. Go meet your team. Get to know your team. Because when your team is speaking up, if you've been present, you've witnessed it, right?
Exactly.
If you've been on the floor and you have been in the trenches with your team, when they're bringing things up that need to be talked about, you witnessed it. You know how to go about it. You can work together. You can all sit at the same table and find solutions. Because the nurses, the ones that are on the ground, the ones that are doing the work, they are the closest ones to the solutions. So anytime these big hospitals and all of these places have all these great big, changes, and it looks beautiful on a poster and looks beautiful from the outside, but it's not functional. And why is that? Because they didn't ask the nurses their opinion. They didn't ask the nurses, how would this work for you? How would this department function better? Let's get some input. There's never any of that. There's never any of that feedback with the people. So again, I just feel that these topics and these conversations, they're uncomfortable sometimes because you don't have leadership that's in the trenches with you. You come to them with a problem and they're just like, yeah, I don't want to hear it. No. Because they don't know anything about it, because they're not witnessing it. They're not living it.
They're not living it. Exactly. And as a career coach, I always tell to my client, before accept any job, you must really study the organization, because if you check what they do, what they are at, the vision and the mission, you start to identify what is very similar to you. Because if you join a workplace that are in line with your vision and a mission, you have a chance to find a good workplace for you. Right. Because everyone, we are different, right? So we're looking for different things. There are people that are looking for career progression. There are people that are looking for a stable workplace environment. So depending on what you're looking for, you must find the right place for you. And the first step is really study, like do your very diligent to understand, not just from the about page, not just from the website, how organization and hospital really behave, really work. You start from there. You start from the website, the about page, but then you also check what they do with their community. And then you connect through LinkedIn with the people work there. And then you really start to a little bit understand what is the really policy there. You speak with these people, you connect with those people, you speak with them. So it's hard sometimes because not everyone say the truth, because maybe they're scared. But if you get in touch with people that work in that organization, you start to have a sense of what is going on. But anyway, I always said to my client that the more you do your research, the better you understand the organization. And when you go to the interview and pass the interview and have the job, you have a high chance that that organization is the right for you. But you're going to know the hospital organization very well only when you work there.
Right. Okay. And when I was contemplating doing travel nursing, I would go on Google reviews and I would look for reviews of wherever the place was and what people were saying, because a lot of times there's staff on there that have left reviews, or there's family members that have left reviews.
Exactly.
And if they have a 3 stars out of 5 or something, workplace violence, or not a good fit, or managers don't listen, there's not a good leadership. I mean, those right there, there's so many ways to kind of find your fit, especially if you're a new grad and you're trying to find your way, and you're trying to find where you want to be. And again, it's finding your niche and what lights your fire.
Exactly.
And that's the thing with our doing clinicals and doing the different rotations. You kind of find where you fit and what you like and what you don't really like and what you want to do. And they always say, start out in med surg. Med surg gives you some experience, and not everybody likes med surg. I personally did not like med surg, but I learned so very much from med surg.
Yeah.
And the 6 months that I was there. And you learn how to be a team player. You learn how to multitask. You learn how to work together collectively. And you learn such a wide and vast variety of patients and diagnoses and disease processes and ambulating and activities of daily living. I mean, there's so many things. So if you do end up in med surg, just try not to think of it as a negative. Think of it as such an empowering learning experience. And I feel like it was so much for me, and talking to some other nurses, that started in med surg, it was a good grounding. And again, it's going to be leadership, and it's going to be the environment, the culture. There's so many things that go into where we choose to be and where we choose to stay. And that's what I was talking about when I said, if what's not named, we can't defend, right? It can't be defended. If you don't name it, you don't call it out. How can we defend it? How can we even talk about it, right? And so many people, we're talking about things, but are we really talking about things?
Exactly.
Right?
So the first step actually is find the right organization for you. But still, you may know, even if you join an organization or a hospital that really reflect your vision and your mission, you're still able to find problem, because problem just arise every day, because we working with people, with the health of people. So problems arise every day. Now, you want to fix a problem as you are a nurse. So the be able to fix, you must identify the problem and name the problem. Because you sent me a lovely quote from Carl Jung today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to read it? You have them in hand. You can read it. Do you want just to? Because the problem with first step is name the problem, understand the problem, so then we can solve the problem. But if you don't understand the problem, what you can do? While you're searching, let me show Ashley comment. I should say, yes, always check out a facility before signing a contract. 100%. Also, everyone is different and has a different niche. Exactly. I say go with your passion, not what everyone else say you should do. This is so true. It's also what I always say to my client. You must find a hospital organization that you're going to grow in, that can give you, that can respond of your personal professional need. Otherwise, no work. Join such organization. So are you ready? You want to share the quote?
Yes, I do. So I just happened to be flipping through my news wheels this morning, and I came across this quote for the day. So Carl Jung, it's Jung, said, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." And here's what that means for healthcare. We cannot change the broken systems until we accept that we've been participating in them. Not because we're bad people, not because we don't care, but because survival required compliance, and compliance became habit, and habit became invisible. Acceptance isn't approval. Acceptance is seeing clearly, seeing that every shift you clock in, knowing the assignment is unsafe and say nothing, that is a choice. Every time you watch a colleague get destroyed and don't speak up, that is a choice. Every moment you let, that's just how it is, be the final word, that's a choice. We can't change what we don't accept we're choosing. And condemnation doesn't liberate us from that pattern. Self awareness does. Naming it clearly does. Choosing differently does. So today, we're not here to condemn anyone for surviving broken systems. We're here to accept the reality of what survival has cost us. And then we're here to choose something different together. So Carl Jung, what he just did, he just gave us the intellectual framework that makes our revolution psychologically legitimate. Then, this isn't just nursing activism. This is applied analytical psychologically. Today we bring Jung to the revolution, and together, we rise.
Absolutely. I think it's beautiful, and your beautiful put in this uh, um, reflection. We are both coaches, right? We coach nurses in two different ways from two different perspectives. And what we are doing with this hierarchy betrayal, basically, I think we left this conversation as the last episode of this first series. What we want to do is not point a finger, not say this is fault or the other's fault or the other person's fault. We not blame the leadership because we are both leader. We just want to raise the problem and name the problem as it is, because unfortunately this leadership problem that is leading nursing to a crisis is a leadership problem that is global. It's not just in USA, it's not just in UK, it's not just in Italy where I come from. It's global. It's really from Canada to Australia to America, Europe, and probably Russia. We don't really have much news from there and from China, but unfortunately, this is the real problem. So what we want to do is simply name it at this point because it's big. It's a big problem. Leadership,
Right.
nursing, leadership in nursing is a very big problem, and we had to start to talk about because it's not making another policy that will help us. It's actually
Right.
name the problem, recognize the problem, and collectively find solution that must be tailored for each scenario, each environment, each workplace. But if we don't name the
Absolutely.
problem and say, look, you have actually a few tools that can help you to
Yeah, right, right.
not
So
solve
Amy,
straight away, but go there to the light.
right, right.
So
Amy, she
today,
just come. Did you see
yes,
Amy's comment?
yeah, I'm just pulling up.
So she said, I've often noticed a hospital's mission statement and values may align with yours, but each unit, if often different, and has its own substructure with a hospital, within a hospital, that may not align with the hospital's mission and values. And that is so true. It's what did we say last time? It was like, it looks good on paper,
Exactly.
it looks good in writing, but is it really working? Is it really the mission? Is it really the true vision? And how many people in that culture are carrying that vision and mission? So no, Amy, you're absolutely right. And she is a leader. I don't know if you are connected with her yet, Dina, but she is in leadership and she's amazing. And the conversations that she always brings, she doesn't, it's she takes ownership. How's that? She sees the things. She's pointing the things out. She's offering solutions. And that's the type of leadership that we need. Those are the type of leaders that we need. The ones that have the open door policy where you can come, you can feel comfortable for speaking up. And again,
Yeah,
if we talk about things get fixed, things change. Because if we just keep pretending it's not happening, does anything change?
yeah, exactly. It's a change every day. Amy, I think I saw you a couple of comments, maybe under Kimberly's post. If we connected, probably just recently, but I agree with you. And actually, not because I want to sell my book, but in my book, I actually go through. I'm a career coach for international educated nurses. So, in my book, I also write what is to live in another country as a nurse and try to find your similars. So, for example, Italian nurses try to bond each other, subgroup in the team. Filipino nurses, they try to bond together in a subgroup within the team. So in the team, you find so many different subgroups. There are usually are coming from nationality, okay, because we in the nation we share the same culture, the same values. So to feel that we belong, we're trying to find our similar, so people that come from our same culture or from our same religion. So unfortunately, you are right. Unfortunately, we found that, well, I found in my research that within the team you find subgroup of people, because people try to aggregate for similarity. And in a multicultural environment, like is London, for example, healthcare in London is very multicultural. Nurses try to aggregate with nurses that come from the same country. So, and unfortunately, because of the culture, you got the good and the bad. So you have the culture of the bad as well, and team leader have this problem. So I agree with you. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Amy. You deserve all the props in the world. I love following you. I love your stories. I truly admire you and respect you more than words can even say. So thank you. You are a mentor for me, whether you realize that or not, and so many others that see your posts and see your comments. So thank you. Dina, I wanted to read something that I wrote this morning. It's on topic and it's just important to me. So if it's
Absolutely.
okay with you, it's
Yeah,
in
yeah.
regard to my post this and your voice and having, compassion. So this is the truth they don't want us to know. Your compassion isn't weakness. It's clinical intelligence. That double check you do on the med that doesn't feel right, that's pattern recognition, born from caring enough to pay attention. Here's what you can do. When someone calls you too emotional for advocating, reframe it. I'm responding appropriately to a patient safety concern. When they say you're taking things personally, clarify. I take patient outcomes seriously. That's my job. Your compassion is your superpower. All of you, don't forget that. That is your superpower. That is why you are a nurse. That is why you do what you do. Use the language that makes sense and makes them hear it as confidence, not emotion. Because so many times you get that side eye and whatever, oh, you're just too emotional. We've all seen that. Document your clinical reasoning. Make your caring visible as expertise. They can't dismiss you and make that undeniable. And always, always, because they taught us to see compassion as a liability, right?
Yeah.
But here's now what compassion actually does. It makes you notice the subtle changes that prevent codes. It builds trust that gets patients to tell you what's really wrong. It creates the safety necessary for honest assessment. The solution isn't becoming numb, it's becoming strategic. So I want you guys to hear me clearly. Set clear boundaries around your time and your energy. Practice compassion for patients and yourself. Build a support network. Look at all of the people around you. Build a support network that validates your caring. Document your advocacy so it becomes undeniable. Find environments that honor your humanity. You can protect yourself and care deeply. They're not mutually exclusive. So remember that, because healthcare systems will often punish the caring that patients desperately need. But here's what's also true. You have more power than you think. So that's why it's so important to speak up. And when you do speak up, I know it's easy to say not to be emotional about it and not to bring emotion into it, because we are that type of person. We are that people. I mean, we've been beat
Yeah,
down for so
human.
long, right?
Exactly.
We're human. We've been beat down for so long. We carry so much. We see so much trauma every day, every day, whether it's a good trauma, it's a bad trauma, whatever it is, it's still something that we carry with us and that we have to bag up and deal with later, or we just, like, most oftentimes, what do? We push it away like it didn't happen, or we don't talk about it. That's the big thing. We just don't talk about things like that. And speaking up shouldn't get you fired. Speaking up, speaking your mind, bringing your fire, and being an advocate for yourself, your crew, and your patients should never be something that costs you your job, or even a write-up, or even some sort of punishment. Because isn't that what we're supposed to do? Aren't we
Yeah,
supposed to
exactly.
be aren't we supposed to be protecting one another and our patients? Right? So I just
And
had to say that, because I just want people to know. Please just know that you are so good at what you do, and your expertise is absolutely undeniable, unmeasurable, and nobody can take your worth from you. Mm-mm.
exactly, and I believe that this post that you wrote is really lead me to what I used to help um also the nurse with, which is emotional intelligence. Because emotional intelligence help you to understand your emotion, also other people's emotion. Once you understand the emotion and you're able to recognize what they bring in you, you're more strong and able to articulate better what is the problem and what you want to solve. You say beautifully that we must use the right language, because otherwise other people, especially people in leadership, they think only um, to to calculate the amount of profit at the end of the year. They can use your word against you. So if you use emotional intelligence to understand your emotion, and I don't want to say control your emotion, but understand your emotion in a way that your emotion don't take charge on you, you are able to articulate better what is the problem. Because when you're hungry, you
That-
should not say anything when you are hungry or upset, right? Because eventually you're going to say the thing in a wrong way, and people that will take as an attack from you. While if you use emotional intelligence, you are able to understand your feeling, what's happening, why you're feeling that way. You cooling down a little bit, then you are able to articulate using the right word. You won't be seen as a threat anymore. You'll be seen like a professional who is able to
Absolutely.
analyze the problem and raise the problem in a right way. So emotional intelligence is very important. But your emotion matter because of this.
Of course it does. Of course it does. And a lot of times it's not so much what you say, but how you say it, right? We've talked about that before, and it is hard sometimes to bite your tongue. I guess that's the word I want to say. Bite your tongue. You have to bite your tongue sometimes, and you have to walk away. But if and if you're right, you're right. It's just sometimes it's the timing, and sometimes it's a conversation that needs to be done privately, and not
Exactly.
in front of anyone, because it's not about humiliating anyone. It's not about putting anybody down, because we are here to lift one another. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be taking care of one another. And
Exactly.
you know, in my writing, because I had kind of put a bunch of thoughts together this morning, because I wanted this podcast, I felt, had so much meaning behind it, and it's kind of carried everything that we've talked about for the last five, the last four of them. So Systems that need you numb to function are broken systems, right? So the solution, create pockets of humanity within those systems. Stay late for the scared patient. Set a boundary. I can stay 15 minutes. Let me get you what you need, right? Need to cry after a hard shift? Build your village. Colleague who understand what processing isn't weakness. Want to advocate without retaliation? Document everything. Patient
Document
safety
everything.
concerns noted, escalated per protocol. We change systems by protecting our compassion while setting boundaries, supporting each other's humanity, making our clinical reasoning visible. Remember that you are making your clinical reasoning visible, not by going off the
Absolutely.
handle, not by living in fear, not by tucking it away like something didn't happen. Because building collectives that can't be silenced individually, your compassion matters, and so does your sustainability. And both are possible because they will try to train the compassion out of you. They'll call it professional development. But here's the sustainable path forward. Keep your compassion and protect your energy. Recognize you can't save everyone, but you can be present for the person in front of you. Remember that. Creating boundaries that honor both patients and yourself. I can stay 10 minutes and I'm out. It's boundary. Set it. You be mad. Don't care. I can stay 10 minutes. That's something and not nothing, right? But you've set your boundary. You've spoke up. You've said it. This is what I can do. And that's what you go with. And you stand your ground. Because sometimes they're like, oh, come on, can't you just stay another 20 minutes? Oh, we'll do this or we'll do that. Oh, we'll give you this day off. There's always negotiations, right? Always negotiations. But let's see. So James, love you, James. The problem is that perception has been empowered by ignorance. Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
And
100%.
why
Oh my
we're
God.
doing this, actually? We're doing this because we have to speak up, we have to raise the problem, and we have to tell to others that we must educate ourselves to be able to speak up, because speak up is not easy. It requires emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence, self-awareness, because if you don't have all these tools, you can speak up immediately, or we can speak up weeks later to name a problem. You're still not able to articulate the problem in a way that is professional, that is analytical, because unfortunately, leadership use, and we leaders too, we know what in certain level you have to, behave or speak. So we must to educate ourselves in a way that we are able to raise the problem, in a way that
Yeah,
is not perceived from the other side as a threat or as an attack, but actually as a professional, act.
this is a problem, and let's find a solution. I mean, it's a simple conversation, but I don't know why these conversations have to be so damn hard. Why are they so hard? Why can't it just be a collective? Everybody's working together. Everybody knows the problem. We keep naming it. Nothing gets done about it. And then when you do talk about it, it's like, what are you talking about? Like what? That's because they're not getting out on the floors. They're not getting in the trenches. They're not working with the staff. So when we come to them with problems, they're just like, well, this is the way we've always done it. Well, clearly the way you've always done it isn't working.
It's not working, but you
You
have to communicate in a way that they can understand. I mean, I'm in Italian. If I speak with Kimberly now in Italian, she can't understand me. Or maybe a little bit. I don't know, Kimberly. Do you know Italian? I just assume. Sorry.
No, I can understand you. I can understand you. I love, like I
So
told you, you're sexy. I like it.
thank you. But what I'm trying to say is, for me, in order to Kimberly to understand me, I have to speak in English, right? So
Right.
unfortunately, every layer of the pyramid, had a different language. So
Mhm.
unfortunately, because we are on the bottom of the pyramid, we have to learn to communicate who is up to us. But the same thing, vice versa, myself and Kimberly, we advocate so much that leaders start to understand and start to communicate with those who are below them in a certain way. This is why we said to leaders, go out of your office and what Kimberly said just at the beginning of this event. We need to learn how to communicate each other.
Know your staff. You have to know your staff. You have to get out of your office. You have to get in the trenches. Go turn a patient. Go answer a call light. Take somebody to the bathroom. Help. I guess that's the big word. Help. We're screaming, help. We need help. We're drowning. Can you please come out of your office? Put some scrubs on. Please help. Make yourself useful. How many times I wanted to say that? I actually said it to my manager at one point. I'm like, you know what? We have too many chiefs and not enough Indians. And she looked at me and she was kind of mad about that. She was like she had no clue what I was talking about. I'm like, she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Think about that. All of you are in the back hallway. 6 of you. RNs, NPs, whatever. Y'all have your titles. We're drowning out here. We're absolutely drowning out here, busting at the seams, and we're short-staffed. There's all of you that could put scrubs on and come out here and help us. Yeah. She don't like that very much. But you know what she did? She went and got scrubs on, and she came out and helped. And I will
what's a leader does.
Yes, and that's what she did. And I'm still very close with her, love her to pieces. And it was just those tough conversations, you know what I mean? It wasn't that she didn't want to help. It was she was so busy having to do what she was doing, the job that she was doing. It wasn't that she was oblivious to it or that she was ignorant to it. It was just her role, our role, observing, you know what I mean? But until someone calls it out and basically is screaming, help, SOS, we got the white flag whirl, and it just brought that to attention. So sometimes I feel like just speak it up. Just say, help, I'm drowning, help, ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Call it what it is, say what it is, right? Yeah, and I feel the more we talk about it, the more we have these uncomfortable conversations, the better it's going to be. And what does James say?
Because the MBAs are fearful of losing power and retaliation from the cause of the environment, help frontline workers. And this is true, but it's also true that the servant leader is the best leader of all. So those people who have MBA doesn't mean they are very good leader. An MBA doesn't give you the power of the best leader, unfortunately.
No, because you don't have the clinical experience. You don't have the practical experience. You've never taken care of a patient. So you have this degree.
But I don't know in USA, but here in UK we have clinical who has MBAs and then take the lead. So they still clinical. They work in the floor. They know what is taking care of the patient. But because they take in the MBA, they think they are a good leader, which is not necessarily true.
No, and
also, who has a PhD or a master in certain specialty, they think they automatically can be leader, which is not necessarily true because they become specialists in their field. So they're very competent at what they do. And we say every time, we really need nurses who have PhD, who has master, because they become very specialists in their field. But having this title doesn't make you necessarily a leader. To be a leader, you have to go through a certain part of self-awareness, recognition, emotional intelligence, cultural intelligence. So unfortunately, we need to start to talk about the soft skill that they call soft skill as a basement for a great leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And we must name these all the time. I have a few comments I want to share, Kimberly. Sorry, because
you're fine. No, let's read them.
So many people. So, as she said, the first step to changing nursing isn't policy. It's permission to grieve what the job cost you and demand change. Absolutely right.
Absolutely, Ashley.
It's naming the problem, understand the problem, agree with the problem as well. We need to talk about emotion.
Naming it is how we get solutions, right? Naming it and calling it out is how we find solutions together, collectively. We make it work. We're all there for the same reason. We make it work. What else did James Ashley?
That makes she was talking about what I was saying about subgroup, national subgroup in teams. The culture nurses will naturally bond with one another, kindred spirits that I can understand. In those of any nationality that feel superior or rule don't apply to them is a subculture that can be problematic. I completely agree. So leadership, hospital organization that it's happened very much in UK, but I think it's happening. I mean, I'm sure I know that it's happening in UK, in USA as well. Hospital organization when are lacking on nurses, they start to employ from abroad, to recruit from abroad. They really recruit in bulk. So instead of open to others with the agency, they basically go in India or they go in Africa or they come in Europe. They do an open day and they recruit in bulk those from the same nationality. And unfortunately, this international recruiting bring with them all the problem that come with the culture, because again they come with bad and they good. Yeah, passion, harm, profit, absolutely. What do you want to say about that, Kimberly?
It's absolutely patient profits. No, we get that healthcare is a business. We get that healthcare is a business. I mean, we all know that it's a business, but it doesn't have to come at a cost of our souls. It doesn't have to come at a cost of patients being mistreated, staff being mistreated. It doesn't have to come at that kind of cost. It just doesn't. It's unacceptable. Unacceptable. We have to change, you guys. We have to change it. We have to be the change that we want to see. So everybody, in whatever aspect of healthcare that you're in, whatever you're doing, if you're seeing things, say something. If you know that there is a way to fix something or make something better, speak up. Bring those ideas. Talk about it. Collectively talk about things. Don't just hang on to something that could be mind-blowing and could change a whole system, can change a whole culture, because you all are so brilliant. Look at what you're doing. Look at all of you here. You're brilliant. So just keep doing, keep talking about the ideas, keep bringing up solutions, because again, collectively is how we're going to make this better. And I just feel that for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because, I think, honestly, Dina, I think it's because we've been squashed so many times. We've been turned away so many times, right?
I think
that we're like, just F it. I'm not saying shit anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I brought it up. I've talked about it till I'm blue in the face. Nothing changes. How many times have we heard that? Nothing changes. We've told them nothing changes. Like Ashley, my problem is you can write from a place when you aren't angry or emotional and people still get mad, or images make people mad. But sometimes it's because it's true and they aren't ready to address it. That's just my opinion. No, actually, you're absolutely right. When we're talking and we're speaking and we're bringing things up, and Ashley and I being storytellers, and my writing and her poetry, there is a lot of times that there's images, these images that some people are offended by, but most generally people are just amazed because we've made the writing so good that it's based on metaphorically, and it gives analogies, and like her stories lately and my posts lately, Wizard of Oz, and she did the Truman Show. I did Silence of the Lambs. We did these different stories because they are so relatable to healthcare, and putting these stories into a visual and then so many people commented, oh my God, the one post got reposted like 26 times. So tell me that it's not meaning something, that it's not landing, and people aren't looking at it and saying, oh my God, yeah, that's perfect. I never thought of it that way. I wouldn't, like some people heard Wizard of Oz one or Star Wars even. They're like, I'm never going to see Star Wars the same again.
But I want to say that Yeah, and your opinion matters so much. It's not just because you said just my opinion. Your opinion matters so much because your poetry is very beautiful because it's full of emotion. And I want to say this. I don't know if I express myself wrong. Emotional intelligence doesn't suppress your emotion, not at all. Is
No.
give you the reality. It give you the tools to being able to speak up or articulate or framing things because you felt with your emotion, but in a way that other people can understand your point of view or can understand your emotion. So, emotional intelligence and also social intelligence, and Goleman talk about this very much. We are human and we're made by emotion as well. So, we cannot suppress emotion. But our emotions sometimes can take over us and make us say or doing things and then we regret. While using emotional intelligence, we are able to understand our emotion, still feeling in our emotion, but be able to articulate our emotions so that they don't become a threat for others. Because everyone, if feels threat, shrink or shut down or fly, you right, or
Yeah,
fight.
absolutely.
What's
Yes, I
we made by emotion, we made by, and we have chemicals that help us to fly, fight, flop, etc. Because you have to respond a certain. We made to be safe from threat.
Mhm.
But we not live in the cave anymore, so we not have to be scared by the lion anymore. But still, we feeling threats. So if we learn emotional intelligence, first we recognize if the threat is really a threat.
Right,
And
right, right.
also we're also able to articulate our feeling to other in a way that don't feel the threat. Because if they feel threatened, then we just shut down and go away or fight. So
Mhm.
my conversation of learn emotional intelligence is for all the side, from frontline workers to leaders to the up to the CEO. We must all learn emotional intelligence also because we really work with emotion. We work with patients that feel emotion all the time. They're scared all the time. They're curious all the time. And so I think that the really shift in nursing will happen is all of us start to use emotional intelligence in a way that we are able to fix the problem without being scared by the problem.
Right, right.
But
No, you're
I'll
absolutely right. Absolutely right. So,
overtalk now.
the Victoria, you got Amy. I never understood when managers just watch the chaos from their offices but don't help, let alone try to problem solve. Yeah, I never understand it either. That's why I called it out. I never understand it, and it's not the first place I've called that out at. So, when the whole team is coming to you as a leader and not the leaders that have been there longer, because and they're begging, please, please, please fix this. I really hope you can fix it here. I really hope you can change things here. And a role I did try. I tried my hardest to change things there, but they didn't want change. They didn't want change. They didn't want the culture change. They'd been there 30 years, and that's just the way it was. It again looks good on paper. So anyway, there's that. So you have to definitely be a leader that's open to conversations and to hearing people and to obviously open your eyes. Open your eyes, look around. It's like, are you blind? Are you completely oblivious to what's happening? Your staff
Yeah.
is not happy. People are calling in. People are looking for other jobs. What does that say? I mean, right there is a huge red flag. And James says the same thing. Same fear within governments and hierarchy societies. If the people rise above or equal to us, then we will be forced to be equal. Hence, why business officials create and keep a dividing line between royalty and peasantry. I love this guy.
Yeah, but the things are changing though. Or people become more aware, and this is good because, and this is why we do this talk, this live
Absolutely.
event, because we want to talk about the problem. Because the more we talk, the more we raise awareness, And the more we raise awareness, the more people want to, understand better and solve the
And it's
problem.
a good conversation because we're hearing from all around the world. I mean, we have people that are Nigeria, Africa, London, UK, Canada. I mean, everywhere, United States. So it is definitely a global issue. So I am so, so appreciative to everybody that is here and is commenting. And, even after watching the recordings and leaves comments, it's these conversations that lead to change, that lead to
Exactly.
us making a difference. Because, we want to, I've always said I want to leave a legacy behind. I want to leave something behind that my children and my grandchildren can be proud of. That, my mom, my grandma, she did this. She was the voice. She advocated. She spoke up. Again, don't be afraid to speak up, even if it's not in healthcare. Whatever role you're in, wherever you're at, speak up. Talk about things. Be uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Kind of like
Exactly.
a real bad
To
blanket,
act,
right? Something like I think.
absolutely, because it helps you grow as well.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah, Rosa from Italy, I think that in leaders' study parties would be better to add a new subject, emotional intelligence. And she had to see Daniel Goleman. Absolutely. Daniel Goleman is one of my best author. And I will say that they start to do it, at least in UK, the master degree that I'm studying is actually has a model that talk about emotional intelligence. But as a career coach, I talk about emotional intelligence since years. I've got few newsletters actually that talk about emotional intelligence, and it's so important because you can really be a leader only if you practice emotional intelligence. Victoria were answering back to Ashley Scott, I think. Ashley Scott, I agree. You can be as calm and diplomatic as Florence Nightingale with delivering an evidence-based opinion, but if the recipients find the content critical or current performance, it will always be difficult to navigate. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, there's that it comes in where we're talking about it. If you're offended by something that say someone's doing or someone's doing for you as an employee, if you're offended by it or it doesn't meet your image, it comes back to image over impact. What's the end game? Do you want it impactful? Do you want it to move people? Do you want it to bring people to you and to your brand? Or are you worried about how it looks? You know what I mean? And I think that those conversations as well need to be talked about. Don't just send a note or send a message or pretend that it's okay by saying, yeah, that's not for me. That's not for me. Explain to me why, and let's have a conversation. And I think that's the same thing with everybody, and what they're trying to explain, and how they're branding, and their image, and their impact, and the storytelling. It's different for everybody, but again, it's getting it out there, and you see from the receipts, you see from the following, you see from the comments, you see from the conversations that it's something that needed to be said. Like your post the other day, leadership, it's something that needs to be said, needs to be talked about. Absolutely. 100%. Ash, Amy, Victoria, Amy, all of you, spot on. James, all of you, spot on. Spot on. I couldn't agree more.
And I was
Actually,
about to
I don't
say
understand
thank.
why it's how many problems could be solved from that alone. Exactly. Exactly. Talk about it.
And I wanted to say, and this is what I say to my nurses as well. I mean, you have to try to solve the problem, otherwise, why you are a nurse? We are so problem
Yeah.
solvers,
What's
and
the point?
but sometimes the culture is so toxic that you cannot do everything by yourself. You cannot solve the problem by yourself. Well, you know what? You're free to leave. When, for example, my nurses or my nurses, my client, they are not able to solve a problem because the culture is really toxic, is against them. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to live and join an organization that, again, that is able to fulfill their need as a person, as a professional, because it's not worth. It's not worth
It's not.
because
No, it's not what you're.
because you get at the end, you if you try to solve a problem, you're unable to do it because the culture is so toxic. You become ill because this toxicity impacts your life at work and outside the workplace, at home. So it's not worth to
It's not.
lose sanity, so we have to try because it's right that we try, but there is a
But you
boundary.
can't. You can't lose yourself in it. If it's so
Yeah,
toxic, it's changing. Nobody's listening. There's nothing that says you can't pivot. There's nothing that says you cannot find another job. Again,
exactly.
think of all your experience. Think about everything that you do, your negotiations, your organizational skills, everything that you do just in a 12-hour shift, say even an 8-hour shift. Think of everything that you do, how valuable you are. So to stay in a role in an environment that does not suit you, does not allow growth personally, mentally,
Exactly.
emotionally. Bye, Felicia. That easy. Bye. I mean, seriously,
Yeah,
start looking.
I
Start looking for a job.
I prefer travel 20-30 minutes longer, having a longer commute than stay in a place that uh, give me problem or make me sad or make me heal. So you have to understand what is best for you. And actually, we should have talked about. I know this more than 1 hour was to talk about, but Ashley has a very good point.
I want to be here. So, what did Ashley say? Also, is there a policy saying what you can and can't post? If not, why do they have a say unless you are directly defaming your workplace? They don't.
Can can I go through this before you, because I know that you have to say a lot about it. But let me go straight away, because as a career coach, I always say to use LinkedIn in a proper way. And I always, before apply for a job, I always say to clean the social media, because your social media reflects who you are. And so if you want to join an organization, you must be in line with the vision and the mission with the organization. And that is so important. So you must keep your social media, especially LinkedIn, that reflect who you are in a professional way. Okay. But I also
Mhm.
say to my client, this doesn't mean that you not have to feel free to raise a problem or to talk about an issue or to say something, right? So you
No,
have to
freedom.
to use, especially LinkedIn, because it's the professional platform as per nature. So you have to remain professional there. But you're free to express emotion. You're free to say what you think about a certain problem. Again, if you practice emotional intelligence, you find the way to frame it, uh, um, and say things in a certain way that is not feel from the other side as a threat. But you have to be conscious with your social media, because these help you to find a job, but also you must feel free to express your opinion. I mean, my
Right.
my LinkedIn profile is all about being a career coach, but I work as a clinical nurse specialist in chronic pain. To think that you will say they're apart each other, right? But
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
communicate my thinking, and I also, every time I join organization, well, now because it's happened now, but I communicate to the leaders that I work part time with them. But I have got another part time job, which is career coaching. So I want to feel free to share my things as I want on my LinkedIn profile, so they can say anything. But you're right; they should have a policy. So you're free to
Oh,
decide to join an organization or not. What are you thinking about, Kimberly?
so I'm thinking that if it's not tagging that organization. It has nothing to do with that organization, because this again is free speech. We're talking about freedom of speech and talking about the things that are uncomfortable. And a lot of times, if it's something that's made you uncomfortable as an employer, have that conversation outside of the platform, or not in a DM, not in an email, in a face to face, or in a phone call. you know don't be a coward. Don't be a coward. Have the conversation. If something offended you, or you have a problem with something, or if you feel it needs to be talked about, talk about it. Why is it so hard to have a conversation that's going to be uncomfortable? So what? It's uncomfortable, but you felt like you had to say something about it. Okay, so let's talk about it. Not talking about it doesn't solve the problem. It just leaves questions like, okay, well, what did I do? What was so wrong with that? Or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't understand, because I don't feel that it was offensive. I don't feel that anything that I wrote it wasn't even related to you. It wasn't related to a situation or something. Media, and they look at their TikTok videos, and they look at this. So many people are talking about so many things. It doesn't mean that it's pinpointed towards one specific group or one specific entity. Sometimes we're just talking. Sometimes we're just sharing our thoughts, and we're putting it into words, and we're putting it out there. Because again, these conversations need to be had. And we're trying to find solutions to fix the problems, to make things better. So again, things like that they just blow my mind. And actually, I don't know what to say, because I don't have a solution or a resolution for that right now. So again, that's a conversation to have, for sure, for sure. But I'm not going to stop being me. I'm not going to stop being. I'm not going to stop writing. I'm not going to stop doing what I do. I'm not going to stop talking. I'm not going to stop advocating. You like me, hate me, I don't care. I don't care, because I know my worth. I know what I bring to the table, and I know that what I say needs to be said, and I'm okay with saying it. I'm comfortable with saying it. And I love everybody on this platform. And we've had so many conversations that were, some people will agree to disagree, or some of the conversations in the comments can get a little bitey and a little bit back and forth. But that's a good thing. That is a great thing, because that means the problems are coming out. That means that we're having a solution. We're talking it through. And that's what needs to be done. We need to talk about things. And again, I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to even pretend that I do for not even 1 second. I don't. But again, it's talking about and bringing them up when other people are saying, me too. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh my God, thank you, sweet baby Jesus. Someone said it out loud, right? How many times we have that? Oh my God, somebody said it out loud. I see that all the time in the comments. Oh, thanks for naming it. Oh, thanks for saying it out loud. Okay.
I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. It's not just myself. Someone else feels the same. Exactly.
Yeah, someone else feels it. And that's the point of these conversations. That's the point of these podcasts, is to bring up these topics and to talk about it, and to feel in a safe space that we can talk about it. And that's the thing about psychological safety and emotional intelligence. All of that is, it's a safe space to be and to talk about things freely. And we're not divided. We're not drawing a line in the sand. We're just trying to be collective, bring everybody together, because that's how things are going to change.
Exactly.
Is by doing it together, because together we rise. Everybody together we rise.
Exactly.
Never look down on somebody unless you're bending down to pick them up. And if a crown is heavy, pass it around. Pass it around.
And I should say, plus your content never changes, stay on brand the whole time and tag unknown. So without the policies, make no sense. But I will say as well, Ashley, that who really lose I was saying in English. Sorry, I lost the word. Who really lose reputation is the other side that shut down. So the problem is when someone say, how our nurse is the best, we really do our best for our nurse, we love our nurse, blah 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 blah, and then a nurse is not able to free speech to have a free conversation. This is really so your reputation that gone down, not the nurse reputation, right? Also because if nurses share their thoughts in their social media and they share the thought without offending anyone, the problem is not the nurse. The problem is the leadership that decide to fire or punish that nurse. Because we must be able to say our thought because we want to improve nursing. And we cannot improve nursing if we don't call the problem out loud, if we don't speak up. So I think the who really lose is the hospital organization and business that say that they really care about nurses, and but when the nurses speak up, they fire the nurse because they are not in line with the policy, even if the policy about social media is not in place. Anyway, what
Okay,
we
love
have to do is
yeah, that's our, I'm just one sec, Dina, just love you, and love your content, love what you're writing. Like Ashley said, nothing changes. It's the same, talking about it all the time, and being wanted because of your fire and what you bring and how you write and how you storytell and how you give such a visual to things. But then something you don't agree with, then you're no longer that same person. I didn't change. They didn't change. It's still the same. It's just the same. Again, it's agree to disagree on something that should have been a conversation. So again, why can't we have these conversations? Why is it so hard to talk about things like adults? Let's start
yes,
adulting.
you lose reputation because you said that you advocate for nurses, but actually you didn't pay attention what was said, and you lose. And also, you said you really do so much for nurses as organization, and really you're not like when nurses advocate for something they're very they hurt are with them. So sorry, I've got another post. It's not a thought system, don't know problem exists. So to post and have conversation is going to happen. Absolutely. We are here to give a little bit of courage over the nurses to speak up. We try to raise the awareness that the problem is really global. So it's not confined in a single event or in a single workplace environment. This is global, unfortunately. So if we speak up, maybe other people will speak up.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is if one person speaks up, then it gives someone else the courage to do the same thing. It gives, like Mark Carter and you and what everybody's doing. It's collectively coming together and talking, and you know, feeling like we have a safe space. We can talk about it. That's how things get solved, by talking about it. By stop pretending it's not happening, or put your blinders on, and oh, we'll fix it next year, or however any of that goes. But it's again these conversations, and I love that we can talk about it. And no, we didn't throw any F-bombs, and I know that's what the disclaimer said. And I know Flavia was a little disappointed last time because there wasn't an F-bomb in there.
I didn't know. Okay.
It was like, oh, no F-bombs. We're like, oh my goodness. But again, these conversations are not scripted. I did read a little bit of something I prepared today just because I felt that it was important to say it, and I couldn't remember all of it, so I had to, because I've been up since 4 and wrote it at 4 a.m. this morning. So anyway, again, find your voice.
Can I read? Yeah, can I read one of my posts actually?
Of course you can.
Because this event come from that actually. Because I was angry. I mean, I was very disappointed and upset. I had to pause a little bit, not rationalize, but analyze what's happened, no, reflect on it, and then I wrote this post. If you are a nurse leader or manager who feel threatened when nurses speak the truth, let's be clear. That's not leadership. That's poor or bad management. Nurses are exhausted and fed up from being used and abused by other care professionals, by leadership, and sometimes by fellow nurses who choose competition and comparison instead of collaboration. Healthcare has become a toxic environment, unfortunately, and nurses are no longer staying silent. We are raising concern because the system is harming people. A true nurse leader does not silence voices or hide behind the hierarchy, and that is the way things are done. A true leader doesn't fire nurses because they speak up their opinion or concern. That is not a leader, it's a coward. A true leader creates space for honest, open dialogue and fair collaboration, especially when the culture is uncomfortable. In toxic culture, endurance is sold as a resilience. And actually, I've done a talk for international educated nurses that I really tell them the difference between endurance and resilience. Because if you educate nurses, they understand the difference and they can protect themselves. Because
Right.
many time leaders sold, resilience, but actually it was endurance. Self sacrifice is rebranded as ambition. Devotion is masked as a pride. This is not leadership, this is propaganda. Healthcare leadership has been very clever at turning patient and staff into commodities while calling it service or mission. But nurses are not resources to be consumed, especially from those who say that they want to serve nurses while actually use nurses for their dirty business. Shame on you. Nurses are patient advocates. For years, we were too busy caring for others to see the betrayal. Now we see it, and now we name it. Patients, nurses, and healthcare professionals deserve dignity, respect, and fair treatment. And we decided to start with ourselves. If you don't mind, as you know, you can really pour from an empty cup. So we really need to focus on ourselves. We are starting by recognizing our value. We won't quit or remiss because you raise your voice. We are not scared anymore because we know our worth and we know that you need us. We are not playing the victim. We are not blinding, pointing finger. We love collaboration. In fact, when leadership is good, nurses and patients thrive. So we love collaboration. But when leadership is toxic, it betrays humans and that must be called out. I am an internationally educated nurse. I deserve to be treated fairly for my competence, experience, and contribution. No more, no less than other. And like me, every nurse deserves fair treatment. We are not commodity. We are not just numbers. We are high-trained healthcare professional, and healthcare need us. You need us. If you're a nurse in leadership position, the choice is simple. Choose nurses, not the corporate agenda. If you're a nurse or international educated nurse, don't lower your head. Find the courage that defines our beautiful profession. Speak up and name your truth. Together we can. Together we rise. Yeah.
I love
So
it.
I was very disappointed about something happened. Plus all the thing happened last week. So I really wanted to say that. And we do this conversation because we really want to speak up in a positive way, in a kind way, to say to other nurses, you are not alone. And this mistreatment must stop because no
Right.
one gain anything from this. Nurses continue to leave the profession because of this, you
Yeah.
know?
And we put so much into it. We pour so much. Oh, look at him. Love you, girl. um, and we pour so much into what we do every day, and it's exhausting. And there's so many days that we get up exhausted because the day before was exhausting, emotionally, mentally, physically. I mean, we're carrying so much, and it just I know. I talked about this last week. I wish I just had a bottle and a little genie, and I could make a wish. I don't need seven. I just need one. If we could just bring back humankind, if we could just remember what humanity actually was and why we're on this earth in the first place, why we're in this profession in the first place. And again, it's a calling, it's a love, it's a passion, it's something that is ingrained in us. I feel that way anyway. Feel it deep in my heart. I love this profession. I love the nurses. And I'm not just talking toxic bullshit, toxic positivity crap. I'm just not. I'm not that kind of person. I'm talking real reality, realistic emotion, feeling. I appreciate everybody. I see your pain. I hear the stories. I read the DMs. I see all of it. And I take every single thing to heart, and every single thing that you share with me is deeply personable. And I appreciate your vulnerability. And I feel that so much of us have so much to share and so many stories that are eating us alive that we're not talking about. And it's that you think about it, the peer to peer support, the finding your tribe, finding your village, building your village if you have to, you know, and I feel that that's what we're doing here, Dina, is we're building a village, we're creating a tribe. And it's a really good feeling because I don't feel so alone, after I'm going to get flipping emotional. After everything that I went through and getting to where I am now, I'm so proud because
I love you. I love you so much.
it's taken so much from me. So to get to where I am now, it's because of all of you. It's because of the conversations. It's because of speaking. It's because of talking about things that are tough and showing that vulnerability and putting yourself out there. And it's not putting yourself out there for show. It's putting yourself out there because you're hoping that you'll find somebody that will say, me too. Me too. I've been there. Let's talk. What can I do to help you? And that's why I started my business, because I know I'm not alone. There's so many that need to talk and are trying to find a way to the light and find a way out of the darkness, because the darkness can be so heavy. So
And I think you're very courage. I think you're very brave, because not everyone is going through what you went through, and able to stand up again, and not just that, but also be an example on a hand, and helper to others that went through the same things. And I think that your work is amazing, and this is the reason why I really want you in this live with me, because you have these strengths and this purpose, and you really are genuinely want to help other nurses, because you've been in a place that was very hard, and you were able to come out from that. But not just that, you also able to help other nurses. So I'm so proud
and
of
that's what
you, and I love you so much, and I'm so
and
happy and glad that you
yeah,
are in this path with me. So
no, love you. I love you, and I appreciate you so much, and your kindness and your generosity and everything that you're doing for the nurses abroad and things. And like I said, when someone reaches out to me and they're in a different continent or a different country, and it's not in my wheelhouse, I always send them to you, or if I know that there's someone that is
I
is
know,
going
I
to be
know.
helpful, because coaching and what we do, it's expensive, and it does come at a
Yeah,
cost, and it is a lot of time, because you really have to get to know that person. You have to find the right fit, because not every coach is the right fit for somebody.
yeah,
So it's that
exactly.
getting
That's
to know it, right? And that experience and your background and who's the best fit, because I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. But if I know that you do and I don't, of course I'm
with
going to send them to and anybody else that's out there coaching and doing this great service to healthcare professionals, frontline workers, all of them. Um, it is definitely, for me, I want to say an extension for my passion of what I do and why I do it, and advocating for my mom, who's been going through some really bad health stuff with recently, and always update.
sorry.
But it's all about speaking up and advocating and being a fierce force. And so it's me, you, and Ashley. I feel so it's fire, fortress, your fury.
And I think the nursing really need more coaches. So we are open to people become coaches because it's really can help the profession to rise, because we are really in nursing, we are really in a very bad spot, and if we don't do anything about, we're gonna crash as professional, and we don't want to this happen,
Yeah.
because also humanity as a whole doesn't deserve the nursing disappear. So, is more than 1 hour enough? We are talking, Kimberly. I know that we want to
Now, I
continue to
people are
talk.
like, oh my God, I got to get to church. People are like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
How many
exactly.
hours the recording? That's what they're saying. So,
That's
your
true.
book, my book, if you have not read Dina and I's book, they're on Amazon. They're available. Dina has a lovely picture of hers in the back. Oh, I have one here. My parents have one sitting here I could show. Anyway, Healthcare Mafia, Nurse's Testament, co-authored with Ashley Scott, and her amazing poetry and what she brings to life in poetry is amazing. So if you're not following Ashley Scott, if you're not following Amy Houghton, if you're not following Anastasia, and there's Dina's. Now you're gonna make me have to get up and get mine. Hold up.
Yeah,
What?
in the meantime, I want to say again that we are streaming from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Please l- share your comment below. We're still replying to you even after the live event. So it's been a pleasure have you in this conversation. This is the last episode of the Hierarchy Betrayal first season. We're probably going to continue because we received so much love and engagement, and so we think that the trial that we done had a positive result. So we're going to talk about this because we haven't yet, right? We must
So
organize.
we're gonna do another series. Let's do another 5 spot.
I
We'll talk
think
about it.
so. Should
And the
we
people
should,
people
should we
that
invite
commented,
some guests?
yeah, yeah, I think we should. I think we should.
I
I
think
think
we
it's a
should.
great idea.
I
Yeah, I
think
think
we
it's a great
can
idea.
invite some experts in some field, then we can decide that fit with hierarchy betrayal
Yeah.
podcast, and probably talk about leadership or talking about emotional stuff like that. I think it's very important that we are coaches and we are experts, so we really deal with these things. But I think having a guest that we can talk together with, I think is
Oh
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. I would love to have Ashley, Amy. I mean, I can. Jesus, and I have enough fingers for all the people that I can think of off the top of my head
Yeah,
would be amazing
me
guests, and
too,
I think
me
it would
too.
be awesome. I think it would be awesome. So if people would, put in the comments topics that maybe we haven't touched on, or things that are tough conversations and you feel need to be discussed, or should be an episode, please, 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 please. We love the feedback. We want to hear it. We want to make sure that what we're bringing to you is important, it's impactful, it's meaningful, and you get something out of it. If anything, of us being coaches, we want to have coached you. We want to have taught you something. We want you to have something that you walk away with. So please
Oh,
put it
thank
in the
you, Victoria. So, Victoria said, I'm so pumped to have been able to be part of this. Thank you both for sharing your experience of vulnerability. More importantly, thank you for showing up, showcasing us all and your strength. Together we rise.
together we rise. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Sylvia. She says, I love your life. And I also would like to add something to what Kimberly said. I have private messages about these lives, past lives. So if you don't feel you want to write a comment that other people can read, you don't feel comfortable, you're free to DM us, right?
Yeah, of
Because,
course. Send us
yeah,
an email.
actually,
Absolutely.
today content came from a personal DM which was not shared in the comments, so feel free to talk with us in the way that you prefer. Don't be forced to write a comment if you don't want to. So yes, I think it was important to say this, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you
Amy.
both. Thank you, Amy, for being here. I'm so glad that you were able to attend today. So thank you. And obviously, I will see you in the comments. And my post today that came out, because, I'm doing this unapologetically nurse's guide to becoming series. And today, the ninth day of it came out. So it was pretty powerful already. So I'm excited to see where I need to catch up on, as I see I have, like, I don't know, 40 notifications or something on LinkedIn. So
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
post probably lit up again, but it's all about talking, you guys. It's all about becoming. It's about being awoke and knowing your worth and finding yourself and back to your why, finding your why. And our whys change. I feel that my why
Yeah,
has evolved.
it
My
does.
why has
It does.
definitely evolved, and it's okay. It's okay. And just finding your voice. Everybody, if I can say anything, if you can take anything from what I had to say today, find your voice. Use your voice.
Yes.
Speak up. Don't be afraid. And if you're afraid, just holler at me. I'll say it for you. How's that? Or Tina will say it for you. Or reach out to Ashley Scott. She'll write you a flipping poem about it.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashley. I think all of you, you've been amazing to stay with us for 1 hour, 40 minutes. This is amazing. We're so pumped as well to be able to give it to you this conversation and to stay together, even if from so many several countries. Yeah, far
Yeah,
away
I
each
know.
other. It's amazing. Okay, should we go? Love you so much. Sis,
Oh
thank
my
you
goodness.
very
Bye,
much.
everyone. See you in the comments. Please, please, please reach out to us. Let us know what you want to talk about. Let us know if you'd like to be a guest. If you know somebody that maybe want to be a guest, let us know. Reach out. Let's make this freaking 2026 fire. Let's do
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right,
Bye, all.
Mama.
Thank you,
Enjoy your
Bella.
Sunday. Hello to the kids, to the hubby.
You too.
Love you, love you. Bye, all of you. Bye, Ash, all of you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And we will see you. We'll see you next Sunday.
See,
We're doing this next Sunday, girl.
see you. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye. Bye.